I am Leah from Spider Felt, and I'm going to show you how to make some felt soap. I hope you've just bought a kit from me, and instructions are always a little easier when you see them. So 3 lengths of wool roving that came in your kit and 3 bars of soap. Start off by rubbing the edges of your bar. This will make it easier on your hands, and it'll keep the corners from poking through. Doesn't need to be a big deal, you just rub the edges a little bit. If you have a cutting board or a kitchen counter, just rub it. You can soften your bar in the microwave on half power for 30 seconds, but this really isn't very difficult. I think I've got all the edges there. Good enough. Okay, you take your wool now and you want to separate it into 3 sections. Roughly, you have 3 bars, 3 colors. There's 1 section, there's 2, and there's 3, and it looks like that one's a little uneven, so I'm just going to pull out, even that one out. Don't worry if the pieces come off, wool is never wasted. You can go back and add it on later. And this is not an exact science, so don't worry about the fact that some of your sections may be a little bit bigger than others. You can borrow from one or the other. Okay, I'm going to put aside those other sections. Now, drafting is the most important skill. You want to make sure that you have your fibers evenly separated along the whole length of your wool, that you don't have any strands or sections that are chunky. So this is not enough. You can see here along the edge, it's a little bit more solid than the rest of it. I want to separate all of that and make sure that each of the pieces is equally drafted. You'll end up getting kind of, and you can see there as the light shines through the table, that's what I call evenly drafted. There's one more. If you don't have this drafted, it's not a big deal, but you'll notice a difference in the way that the felt attaches to itself, whether it's even or whether there are chunks. Okay, there's one strip, and here's the last strip. I'm just going to pull it apart. Okay. So then you take your bar, I'm trying to find the one that I've already softened the edges for, and you just roll it around horizontally around the width of your bar. Okay, and just like a gift wrap, you see the little end here. Just going to fold it in a little bit, fold it over. Take your next color. You can actually pull this apart into 2 skinnier bits, and you're going to fold it over vertically. You just kind of hold it in place there. You don't want to pull it too tight. You want to give the fibers a little bit of room to work around there. And there's my next section. I just pulled it apart in half. I'm going to go around this way. This doesn't have to be an exact science. You just want to make sure that you have roughly the same amount of wool on all sides, and then if you wanted to pull apart some sections or just do stripes or whatever you like, you can do that. This is more than enough for a bar. There's just a little bit of extra here. You really don't need to use all of it. Okay, and there you go. There's a little piece that came apart. Just put on any sections that come off. Now you've got your water bottle. It doesn't even have to be hot. Helps if it's hot, but this is not hot water, as it turns out. I want to make sure that you have everything off of your work surface. The water may run around. You don't really want to get bubbles on there. I'm just squirting this gently. It's not sopping wet. Actually, it is sopping wet. Okay, now this is the most difficult part. So you want to put your hands on either side and just rub slowly. So actually the agitation is coming from inside the soap. My hands aren't really moving. I'm just sort of wiggling my hands around on the bar. I'm going to wait for a little bit of lather to come up on there. You can see the bubbles are starting. Rotate it a quarter turn every 10 seconds or so. And you'll start to see and feel, you'll start to hear the bubbles coming up. Once you do your first bar and your hands are really soapy, each bar after that is going to be a lot easier, and you will have more soap on your hands and it'll go a little bit faster. The first one, when your table's clean and your hands are clean, is a little on the slow side. And so what you're going to notice is that the package is a lot bigger than your soap, essentially. See these puffy bits out here? Ignore that for the moment. What we're trying to do is just work up a little bit of lather. So you're going to have these little bits that stick out on the side. Okay, now we have some lather happening. Okay, and now you can just sort of spread it out a little bit. This isn't a big deal, but you want to make sure that it doesn't overlap and fold into itself like that. So as you rotate it and you rub, and now you're using a little bit more agitation, you're pressing down, you can just spread it out around the corner. And as you continue to do this, it will shrink. And by the time we're done, you will have a solid, firm soap that is the same size as the bar inside. This will shrink to completely cover it. This is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to get the bar going at the beginning. Your first soap may not turn out the way you expect it, but it's always soap and you can still use it. Okay, now that I've got it going a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that the soap isn't moving underneath the wool, it's not slipping around in there, and this is starting to take form, I'm going to work on the ends. And here I'm just going to very gently, I'm hardly putting any pressure on this, just sort of turn it around a little bit. I really don't want to squish it too much because, again, there's lots of extra roving here, and I don't want to form any creases in these early stages. So now I'm just going to work it around, rotating every couple seconds on a different surface. And with my thumbs, I'm just sort of spreading the wool a little bit. And now that I have it going, I can start increasing the pressure slowly. And that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoy your soap. Send me a comment and let me know what it looks like. Send me a picture, I'd love to see it. Bye-bye!